I don't have editing skills, so I like to separate the
Totally get it.
meditation
Totally.
with the Dhamma talk. So I
Okay.
will formally request the Dhamma talk.
Beautiful.
Brahmacharaloka Dipati Sahampati Katanchaliala Divaram Ayachatam Sandita Sata Parajaka Chatika Dese Tudamam Anukam Pimam Pajam.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang Dhammang Sanghang Namasami. Well, it's very lovely to be with everyone here tonight and to hear again, some of these deep, deep roots that you all have with the Dhamma and with one another. Very, very beautiful, um, and moving and inspiring for me. And I, as much as possible, when I give a Dhamma reflection, as much as possible, I really, at this point, like to speak about meditation, because this really is the linchpin, the foundation of our practice. And as Kathleen talked about, there certainly is a time in our lives when our practice is very much our life. Uh, and this is also an important skill set and very valuable for all of the paramis that it develops in us. Uh, but tonight, I would really like to try and talk about meditation. And, this sort of comes out of the 3-month retreat that we just had. The theme for me was what I've alluded to in the guided meditation, this aspect of meditation where it's this relationship. Really, I think everything is relationship. Quantum physics is, I'm not going to go on a tangent, and so meditation really is this relational field uh, between the consciousness, the knower, the mind, and the what's known, the meditation object. Ajahn Brahm talks about this space being the workshop of the hindrances, and it's other things too. And that's not what I'm going to talk about tonight. I'm going to talk about the opposite. When we are being able, when we understand this space, and when we understand the crucialness of it, that we can be cultivating and strengthening that space to be beautiful, that space to be wise attention, yoni so manasakara, this wise attention. And when the more that we are understanding this, I think the more that we are really understanding the Dhamma and that we're practicing the Dhamma, the first two noble truths, uh, that samsara is it's hurts. This is one other way to talk about the first noble truth. It's dukkha, dukkha, dukkha. The samsara hurts. Yes, we have glorious things in our lives. We have marriages and children and worthwhile careers and some of us, beautiful homes and you know uh, beautiful music. This is all good karma, but ultimately it's impermanent, and ultimately it's dissatisfying. And when we really understand that the cause of the dissatisfaction is not out there, it's not that we need, more vacations, it's not that we need to explore having another partner. It's not out there, it's here. Dukkha is arising here, and the cause is my own ignorance, my own delusion, my own misunderstanding. And ultimately, it's delusion, and it's expressed in my craving and my aversion, my ill will. And so that's what's in this space, this opportunity. As we meditate and things get much, much, much more simple, you start to see this cause of dukkha. You start to see the craving and the aversion that's there. And then when that's really apparent, then we get the opportunity to bring this beautiful, wise attention to that, to the craving, to the aversion. And it's basically like, I see you, Mara. I see you. This path is about truth, and it's about us being brutally honest with ourselves about what is actually there. And we all have that. We all have that potential. And the more we're uncovering, the patterns of our own minds and our own hearts, and the ignorance that's there, the more that we're uncovering the truth of this, the more truth that will be able to crystallize and be revealed. They're the Four Noble Truths, and they're noble because they are true. Suffering's not noble, but the truth of suffering is incredibly noble. It's our gateway. And when we fully take that on board, it's inspiring. It's completely empowering. It's the absolute opposite of victim mindset. Absolute opposite. It's completely empowering. My meditation teacher, Beth Upton, often talks about uh, I heard her once give a wonderful simile. It's like, someone comes in and trashes your kitchen. It kind of doesn't matter who that was. The issue is that your kitchen is trashed, and it's your kitchen, and it's your job to clean it up. This is our situation. For me, my meditation retreat was all about this. I'll just be personal, because there's a chance it could be helpful. In the fall, I was diagnosed with cancer, and it was really clear to me that the tumor that had grown had been fueled and exacerbated by some of the patterns that I have. I've got a lot of female conditioning, a lot of collapse, absorb. I've had a lot of messages, and then maybe if the message wasn't even there, something got primed where I picked it up. My worthlessness and my not belonging, and these are themes that they are carried in many, many human hearts to some degree or another. And so it was a real wake-up call for me to dig down more to these horrible messages that I was allowing to, reverberate. And there was a pivotal time. I was having a meditation interview with Beth Upton before I went into retreat, and I was telling her about the cancer, and what I really knew deep in my bones about it. And she said, this message of worthlessness and not belonging has come from the outside. And then she said this sentence, and it just went in so deep, so helpful. She goes, but it's yours now. And somehow, all this therapy, like all these reasons, my parents, in World War II, and, you just go back and back and back. It, yeah, but it's mine now, and it's my mess, and it's mine to clean up. Very, very empowering. And the issue is, it's the same. It's the same for our parents. It's the same for anyone that's hurt us. You look at their life, same. It just, this is where the Buddha's teaching us, it's beginningless. It's unknowable and unknown. And it's the same for all of the unskillfulness and all of the pain that we constantly inflict on others and inflict on ourselves. It doesn't, as soon as we really pony up and go, whoa, this is my mess. So I want to be with it, and I want to understand it, and I want to care for it, and I want to clean it up. It's just so incredibly empowering. And then the Buddha gives us this beautiful tool of this beautiful attention, this wise attention that's a game changer. Yoni so manasikara. And there, I just want to flesh out, what I mean by this beautiful attention. There's a wonderful metaphor that the Buddha gives, where to me, it's just so rich and meaningful. It's in Danta Bhumi Sutta, which is in the middle length discourses, Sutta 125. And Danta meaning trained, and Bhumi meaning ground. So this is the foundation. This is the ground of people that have walked the path and are enlightened and have trained their mind and heart. And he begins, before he talks about that training, which really is the Eightfold Noble Path. It's the gradual training. It's what it looks like fleshed out in a human life. But before he describes that, of this training that happens between himself, the teacher, and his teachings, the Dhamma, and the practitioner, he gives this beautiful story, this beautiful metaphor that would have been even more meaningful at the time, because it's about a wild elephant, and probably none of us have seen one or met one, or maybe don't even want to. But it's beautiful. He describes that the king sends his elephant trainer into the jungle, and the elephant trainer captures this wild elephant, and then brings the wild elephant out into the open. And then the Buddha starts to describe this training that happens. And the fact is that the wild elephant is our mind, our wildness, and the elephant trainer is our mind. It's our wise attention. It's our skill. We're both. We are training our own mind. And when this attention has this quality of beauty and wisdom and care and patience and forgiveness, this is when the training takes off. So the Buddha describes that the elephant trainer catches this wild elephant and then he begins to train it and he speaks to this wild elephant. There's 6 adjectives, and this also is common in the suttas, where the Buddha talks about like eat and bite and chew and swallow, and like he in Pali often, and the translators talk about this. Sometimes it's hard to come up with another English equivalent for this series of Pali words that kind of all mean almost the same. But this string of 6 adjectives, the elephant trainer speaks to the wild elephant first gently and pleasing to the ear. This is our wise attention. This is the way, hopefully, we're responding to, we're witnessing, we're attending our own experience, our own mind, our own meditation object. Gentle, pleasing to the ear, lovable as goes to the heart, courteous, agreeable to many, and pleasing to many. These 6 adjectives. Gentle, pleasing to the ear, lovable as goes to the heart, courteous, agreeable to many, and pleasing to many. And then the Buddha describes when the elephant is spoken to in this manner, when we have enough resource, enough capacity, enough buy-in to bring this beautiful attention to our own experience. The way that this wild elephant, this is the way our wildness, our hindrances, our pain, our heartache, whatever, our difficult memories, the pain in our knee, our disappointment, whatever, when this attention is beautiful like this and tender and connected and attuned and caring, the Buddha describes that this wild elephant listens, lends an ear, and he exerts his mind to understand. This is our meditation. And then it's really powerful. It's all in the same paragraph. The Buddha goes on to describe when that occurs, then the next thing that happens is that the elephant tamer gives the elephant fodder, gives the elephant food. And the elephant takes it. And as soon as that happens, the elephant tamer knows this elephant will live. This elephant will become a king's elephant. In other words, this is going to work. As soon as we begin to really derive nourishment and strength and more purity and change from our meditation practice, everything takes off. This is a foundation for faith. I just want to end with a beautiful poem on this whole idea of this wild elephant, our wildness, and this beautiful attention. This is a poem from the Therigatha, and it's Dantika, the elephant. And this is the nun, the bhikkhuni Dantika. While walking along the river, after a long day of meditating on Vulture Peak, I watched an elephant splashing its way out of the water and up the bank. "Hello, my friend," a man waiting there said, scratching the elephant behind its ear. Did you have a good bath? The elephant stretched out its leg. The man climbed up, and the two rode off like that, together. Seeing what had once been so wild, now a friend and companion to this good man, I took a seat under the nearest tree and reached out a gentle hand to my own mind. Truly, I thought, this is why I came to the woods. So I'll end there, and please, discussion or questions or anything.
Sadhu, 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 anamodami.
Oh, and I'm cancer free now, so much easier to talk about it. Yeah, yeah.
Does anyone have a question?
I can start. Sister Ahimsa, thank you so much. I have been practicing, I'm doing a 10-month paramis course right now, and this month is loving kindness. And we speak of gentleness. Yeah, it's very touching, courteousness and politeness and friendliness. And so I've been trying to do that a lot with myself, primarily, because that seems to be the place where it's most needed. But a very practical thing. So right now, as you were speaking and during my meditation, I have this restless leg syndrome. So right now, acting up, and my body just wants to move and not stay still. And so I was practicing that gentleness with, okay, like what if I could just not be perturbed, okay, just a leg that's moving of its own will. I can't control it. And so I wondered if you had some thoughts about that. When one does have that sort of physical distress, can one sort of tame it like the elephant?
Yeah, 100%, Barbara. And that's why I even said when we were going into meditation, like, get as comfortable as your body at this point, permits. Because many of us carry quite a bit of pain or have issues in our bodies. It's a great question. And yes, I think Beth Upton, I love this. Her translation of metta is acceptance. And the more that we just deeply accept things, and you did that. You were like, can I not just be not perturbed? That this is really wise. I think sometimes we've had experiences where we softened and we opened and we relaxed, and the issue that was difficult, transformed. And this is beautiful and it's wonderful and it happens at times. But I think it's really key that we understand that I'm actually softening and trying to accept, not so that it transforms, just because that is the wise, skillful thing to do. And I was in a group interview with Beth Upton, and somebody was talking about, I don't think it was restless leg syndrome, but there's clearly something was going on for them in their legs. Tremendous buildup of energy and pressure and like this desire to run. And it was quite astounding to me what Beth said. Beth was talking about, just what you were talking about, Barbara, like accepting and And then Beth said, your body is going to do a lot worse things as you're dying, likely. And it just sort of put things in perspective, you know? So it, you know, it's a stretch to go, oh, just think of it as a gift, you know? I mean, that, of course, it would be lovely if that wasn't happening at this time, yet it is. And so I've also had like some really difficult things in the body, and bringing in death has really helped. Like, oh, you know, this is a training for being with pain. It is a training. Um, and then also being honest with myself. And I wish it wasn't there, you know, and I need to continue working with that. Is that helpful at all?
Yeah, I think that's sort of the first time that I've been able to just go, oh, it's just a leg that I don't seem to have any control over.
Yeah,
And as opposed to, as you said, pushing it away, the aversion, you talked about that, and the wanting my body to be still.
totally.
But just, oh, this is just, oh, well, thank you for being there, leg. At least you haven't fallen off my body. I mean, I didn't say that, but
Yep.
and my mom is in hospice now, and I've been spending a lot of time with her, and so watching her accept a loss of being able to look after herself in many, kind of very vulnerable ways.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it does put things in perspective when you watch someone closely die. I mean, she's literally died a few times already. And she keeps coming back to life, but she just keeps us accepting more and more, things that she just has no control over, and she's just, oh, it's just, yeah. So it's yeah, very, very humbling. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and we get all this practice with our body. It's going to be very, very we're going to draw on it when we're dying, unless, you know, we die with an aneurysm, boom, we're gone, you know. But I mean, if we die as your mother's dying, and if we can bring this beautiful, you know, Ajahn Brahm calls it kindfulness. If we can bring this kindfulness to that process as it's happening with, you know, our own body, tremendously good karma to not have, you know, tons of fear and tons of aversion. Tremendously good karma. Yeah. And Barbara, when there is that slight wish that it wasn't like that, then you just, as much as possible, want to be honest and bring that beautiful attention to that. Like, oh, bless my heart. Like, of course I would. And that may my acknowledgement and acceptance of that craving or that aversion, um uh may that help me not like be blind to it, and be letting it build, you know. Some of our hindrances are kind of like fungus, you know, like they get under things, and then they they get moisture and they grow. And so, you know, even if it's really smells bad and looks bad, like exposing it is it's our first chance of unhooking from it. And it just gets more and more sneaky and subtle, you know.
Any other questions?
Very quiet. Oh, Anne, please. You're muted, Anne.
Okay, sorry.
Perfect.
Can you hear me now?
Totally. Perfect.
Great, thank you. Yes, when I'm meditating and when we do it every week, we go through a process where we send love to ourselves and then love to people we care about and then love to people that we feel neutral about. And I always have trouble when I'm supposed to send love to people that I find difficult. And somehow today, with you and learning about more being affectionate and loving to yourself, but also I could send love to the people who I find very difficult, like Putin and what's the other guy in Israel, Netanyahu. I
Yeah.
was able to send them love, which was amazing because it was the first time. So thank you.
Wow. Yeah, that's because, and I think could be partly because talking about there's no blame, it didn't it they yeah, they're products of this incredible delusion and ignorance and horrible craving. Yeah, you know, they 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 need our understanding kind of more than anyone.
Well, I've never been able to do it before, so that was the first time.
That's awesome. That's just great.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing. That's wonderful. Kathleen, did you have something? It looked like you had your hand up.
I was just going to say, I mean, I appreciate you acknowledging the point about how, living is the practice. And I think, the first time that I got to hear you speak here, which would have been a number of months back, you relate a story about being with one of your grandkids, I believe. And, they kind of lost their mind as young kids do in a moment. But just, I just appreciate that so much and wanted to just express my gratitude for that because I feel like there's a place for women in the West with duties and responsibilities, especially if you're a partner and a mother and have a career where it's trying to figure out how to apply the Dhamma in that life on a daily basis or a moment to moment basis can feel really hard when I think of the suttas or the practice in a more sterile way,
Mhm.
and I feel like I've really been trying to think about how that just applies to life in
Mhm.
moment to momentness, and I think that's why I've appreciated Shirley Jayanta's teachings, and I appreciate the way you approach that too. So just wanted to express my gratitude for that. Thank you.
Excellent. Yeah. I was at a retreat with Beth Upton and someone asked about having children and she said if you are going to have children, understand that will be your practice. Don't set up this conflict between your practice and your child. Like, yeah. And just understand that will be your practice for some time. She has another great thing when you're coming off retreat with her, and they're usually long, so she tries to teach long retreats so people go deeper. And coming off retreat with her, she'll often talk about that you can think of your life as like these four components. And she said one is your formal meditation practice where you're sitting on the cushion. And ideally, you're really with your meditation object at that time, that this is you're training the mind, training the attention. And she said, and then there's this other area of everyone's life, which is just these built-in tiny pauses, like when you're waiting for someone to phone you back, or when you're at a red light, or when you're waiting for the kettle to boil, or when you're at the dentist's office waiting to be called in. She goes, these are times also, normally the mind is lost and wandering thoughts. And these are times to capture. And again, be with your meditation object. And she goes, and then there's this third area of your life, which are these things that you're doing every day, like brushing your teeth or going up the stairs or starting the car. She goes, this is another thing that you can, and she's very careful on this one. She goes, this is actually hard. Just pick one. Like, don't think, oh, okay, everything that I do that's automatic, I'm going to be with my meditations. No, just pick one, like going up the stairs or brushing your teeth or having your shower, whatever. Just pick one and try to make it like your habit that, oh, this is another time I get to be with. And it's just beautiful because she definitely talks about our meditation as a relationship. And so it's you don't want to lose contact with this meditation object that you're having this relationship with for too long. And then she goes, now the fourth area of your life, and this is where you'll get jazzed, I think, Kathleen. She said the fourth area of your life is your life, like you're raising your children, you're at work. She goes, no, you are not being with your meditation object at this time. But what you can do, all of that, all of the whole rest of your life, you can be as much as possible cultivating, growing kusala, wholesome. So you're doing emails. So watch the mind. Like, am I feeling burdened by these emails? Do I have aversion? Try to know what's in the mind and try as much as possible, bring more wholesome qualities. Like as you're emailing this person, that you're trying to have some, gratitude for them, or some metta, or some patience, all these paramis. Yeah, very, very helpful. And then she said, then your entire life is practice. You got your formal practice, and then you're doing these small things to strengthen formal practice, and then you're just building more and more wholesome mind states, which is the point of our practice, frankly. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. That's a beautiful capture. And it fits really well with the idea of, I can remember coming out of a retreat and all of a sudden something like binged in my head to say, oh, sitting, standing, walking, lying down, everything, I'm either sitting, standing, walking, or lying down. So I guess there's really an opportunity in every moment of every day. And
Yep.
you've captured that in another way of looking at that. And I appreciate that. Thank you.
That's Beth Upton. Yeah, I certainly don't want to keep people. But if anyone else wants to share something, I'm also keen. Kathy, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I've had some digestive issues, and today's the first day in a week I haven't had a sore stomach, and it's such a relief.
A big blessing.
And it's interfered with my sleep and just everything. So, but I was just about to speak when you addressed me. I find I don't have much contact anymore with a sangha. So it's just me living alone with me. And like I joined the Clear Mountain group that meditates at 5:15 to 5:45 every day. Sometimes I go on at 5. So that's pretty much it for a sangha. And I was just noticing today when you did the meditation, I thought, oh, whenever I'm on a small group like this, I love this group because it's so intimate. and when I've done Zoom retreats with a smaller group and with teachers I know, I can really feel the energy. But when I'm home with just my wild elephant mind, sometimes it's just so painful, and it's like I'm looking at the clock like, am I done yet? Am I done? So like I feel it's a bit of a problem not having a sangha, nobody to talk to, and that understands what a Buddhist is even, and who the Buddha was, and that I'm trying to tame my mind. And so I just wish you were here every week. That would really be so helpful.
Well,
And I'm so happy to hear that you've recovered from your cancer.
Yeah, thank you. You can go on the Canmore website. We have a group Tuesday evening, and then we have a group Friday morning. I don't know if either of those times work for you, and they're hybrid. And the group on Friday morning is smaller and more intimate.
So if I go on the website, it'll tell me the times and how to log in and stuff?
Yep, it's even on the home page in the bottom left corner. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd love that. Are you there for those?
Yeah. The Friday morning might be a bit early because it's 8:30 our time, so it'd be 7:30 your time. But
that'd be fine.
yeah.
I'd just do it before breakfast.
What happened to your exploring Kamloops?
Oh, well, I just decided it wasn't going to work because Birkin really isn't available. I mean, living closer wouldn't have done me any good, because if you can't go, you can't go. It doesn't matter if you live 5 kilometers away or 500. So, and then I felt I'd just be out there in the middle of nowhere in a strange place.
Yeah.
And I'm too old to uproot myself. It's too exhausting.
Yeah.
I'm finding my physical energy is draining faster and faster, and I have to really
Careful.
take it slow, and then I have to have long rests.
Yeah.
When I do overdo it. And sometimes you can't help overdoing it just because there's things you have to do and your body just says enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like I'm coming to terms with getting old. It's some days it's okay and other days it's not.
Isn't it Mae West who said aging isn't for sissies?
Yeah, my dad said that too.
Yeah.
No,
It
it
was
sure
Mae
isn't.
West for sure. Yeah.
Well, I guess he stole it from her.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't want to babble. I'm just trying to form my thoughts. It's just so great to be here with a small group, and where we can just, it's almost like you're here in this room with me.
Well,
So
the Friday morning group is like that. It's small.
I'll check it out for sure. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be wonderful to have you join. It'd be just great. Yeah.
And we're certainly very happy to have you come on Wednesdays, generally at 7 o'clock. So,
All right. Yeah.
so just to let you know
I'll
that
be
you're
there.
welcome.
Okay, great.
I will look those up again and be there. I'm just curious, Ayya, that your teacher is a lay woman and you're a monastic. Can you talk a bit about that?
Yeah, it's not unheard of at all. It's it's slightly unusual, but she has a growing number of monastics that are her students. She was a monastic for 10 years. She was a Sayalay in Burma, in Myanmar for 10 years with Paok. So she certainly, she just knows monasticism. And but she's my meditation teacher. She's teaching me meditation. Yeah. And I have to say, you all knew Anagarika Dhammadina. I feel like I bumped around the Dhamma for quite a long time, meeting a lot of Dhamma teachers, but not actually meeting a meditation teacher. And I think it's different. And maybe it's because she's from up, but her instructions are extremely precise. And like she knows exactly where I'm at in my meditation and what I need to be doing and what I need to be doing next. And so I was, and it could just be me, but my experience in Thai forest, Ajahn Chah, it was the meditation instructions were very vague, and I was really lost. I mean, they work for many people. It's great, but I was lost and stuck. And so, and this is just clear that, and it's in the suttas, very, very clearly in the suttas. Different minds, need different things. Yeah. I mean, the Buddha's instructions they're different in different settings. Yeah. Have I answered your question?
Yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah. And I definitely know other monastics that have lay teachers, not Beth Upton, and also Beth Upton now has many, like Bhikkhu, Bhikkhuni, seminary. Yeah. Not many, but I have not been to a retreat of Beth Upton's and been the only monastic. I've been to 3, and there always was other monastics there.
Where are her retreats?
Her retreats they're a month long usually, and she now seems like she's only doing one in North America a year. She's doing one right now, actually, in Austin, Texas, at a monastery, Sitaku Monastery. And her retreats are all Dana. Everything's Dana. And she's available for meditation interviews, all Dana. It's very, very, very beautiful.
I have to
'Cause I
leave, but I
find-
just want
Of course,
to say thank
yeah.
you so much. Thank you so much. This is a wonderful retreat. Thank you.
Yeah. Beautiful. Bye, Kathleen. I know. See, you have to go too. Yeah, we're over.
Bye,
time.
Anne.
Bye.
Bye, Kathleen.
Thank you, everyone.
And-
Thank you.
And you're in Port Roberts Creek?
No, I'm in Vancouver.
Oh, you're in Vancouver. Okay.
Yes.
I got mixed up.
It's okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Anne.
Thank you so much.
Bye, Barb.
So I was going to say, I don't really have much opportunity anymore to even go on retreats. The ones are back at the Asian Center, but if there's a Zoom option, I usually take it now because it's just so much effort to get there.
Mhm.
And like I just find now that I'm really doing things where I don't have to make a physical effort.
Mhm.
So I do the Zoom, and I'm finding that depending on the teacher, that it can be almost more rewarding, except it is really nice to be there with the teacher. It's funny though, because there's one coming up in May, I think, with a lay woman, and we were offered complimentary tickets. So I thought, oh, well, I'll go. And then I thought, well, maybe I'll just go one day though, because it's the driving, like
Mhm.
just, you have to spend an hour getting there and then over an hour getting home, because by the time you leave at that time of day, it's just the traffic's hideous. And I have to buy lunch, and I go early so I can get free parking.
Mhm.
So I have to plan all of these logistics to make it all work. And then I just started to think, I don't want to do that anymore. So the Zooms, so I Zoom when I can. But but I like being at the UBC campus. It's really a wonderful place where they hold those retreats. So it's part of the whole experience.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of Aloka Vihara? Have you heard of it?
Is that the one? Not the one in Surrey, is it?
No, it is in California. Anyway, they
Oh,
have an online retreat this summer. I'll send you. I think
okay.
I can send you. I can try to send you info.
That'd be great.
Yeah, it's 2 nuns teaching. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, and I'm there, the Clear Mountain people are interviewing more female nuns too, which is nice. I'm just so thrilled to see all these women in the robes. And I think, oh, I wish that was me. I wish I'd had that opportunity when I was young. I wish I'd known. So I'm aiming for it in my next life, that's for sure.
Powerful aspiration.
Well,
Great.
I'm working on that intention to be born where I can hear the Dhamma and, you know, find teachers, and that there will be places for me to go to immerse myself. So let's see
Beautiful.
how that turns out.
Good, Kathy.
Aya, would you like to close with Karaniya Metta Sutta?
Oh, sure. Do you want it in English or Polly?
Well, I can, let's
Polly.
see what we've got here. Up to you. I have English here, and others could join silently. Let's see if I have the, I guess I don't have the, up to you. What would you like? I have the English here if you want it. Otherwise, you can do it in Pali, and I'll just check this off the screen.
No, why don't we do this and everyone can chant? That's fine.
Okay, I will just
Beautiful.
mute others.
This is what should be done by one who is skilled in goodness and who knows the path of peace. Let them be able and upright, straightforward and gentle in speech, humble and not conceited, contented and easily satisfied, unburdened with duties and frugal in their ways, peaceful and calm and wise and skillful, not proud and demanding in nature. Let them not do the slightest thing that the wise would later reprove, wishing in gladness and in safety. May all beings be at ease, whatever living beings there may be, whether they are weak or strong, omitting none, the great or the mighty, medium, short, or small, the seen and the unseen, those living near and far away, those born and to be born. May all beings be at ease. Let none deceive another or despise any being in any state. Let none through anger or ill will wish harm upon another, even as a mother protects with her life her child, her only child, so with a boundless heart should one cherish all living beings, radiating kindness over the entire world, spreading upwards to the skies and downwards to the depths, outwards and unbounded, freed from hatred and ill will, whether standing or walking, seated or lying down, free from drowsiness. One should sustain this recollection. This is said to be the sublime abiding, by not holding to wrong views, the pure-hearted one, having clarity of vision, being freed from all sense desires, is not born again into this world.